Hello, 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 and welcome to the $1 Million Electrician Podcast, where we help home service pros like you supercharge your business and spark up those sales.
I'm Joseph Lucani, and together with my co-host, Clay Newmeyer, we're here to share the secrets that have helped electricians sell over $1 million from a single service van.
Now, it's time for sales. It's time for scale. It's time to become $1 million electrician. Hey team, welcome back. We got a great show for you today. Joe, you brought this topic up and it's an all-important one. So often we get the options objection of just how do you create a menu of pricing in a new home?
Yep.
Is that where you wanted to go with this?
Yeah, no, it's true. It's just, I don't mean to laugh, but it's the thought that when someone tells me that, I can see where they're coming from. Like, it makes sense. You know, oh, the panel's brand new and the wiring's all new. And like, what else could you offer? It's just one bad device. But when you understand the whys and the hows and break it down to a larger scope of understanding, it actually is a lot easier than you think it is.
Okay, well, let's dive right into it. I know this one's going to be hyper tactical. If you've ever been to a service call where everything seemed new and there's nothing you could do, and the homeowner felt that way too, then you've probably been challenged by this a time or two before. Joe, what do you think is the biggest problem? What do you think gets people tripped up here? Is it just that?
No, it's not even the work issue. It's actually a perception issue. And the reason why I say it's a perception issue is because a lot of times people stress about it before they even go to the call because they're worried about what the homeowner is going to say. Because as an electrician, we often are focused on, once again, the thing, like the bad GFI, it's bad wiring, it's a bad break. Like we think about the thing being the problem rather than the effect the thing is doing to the customer's emotional state, how it's affecting their long-term growth, how it's affecting their use of the property, how it's affecting their enjoyment of the property. So can I give like a couple examples of what that might be?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, cool. So like, let's say the typical call is I'll make it really ridiculous. I've got a tripped GFI on a kitchen countertop for a brand new 2024 home or 2025 home. And you get there and the wiring's good and everything's connected, and yet it's just one device. And someone's like, well, how do I go above and beyond that? And it's actually not even in the product itself. It's in how are they using the time experience. So I'm sure you've experienced it as well. Most new construction, especially in today's day and age, is not the highest quality work by a long shot. Like I remember when my home was built, I'm still running into a ton of tissues. It's brand new. And when my mother-in-law built her home, we were yelling at the electrician because he was doing such shitty work. And they were like, it's to code, man. Deal with it. Fight us or not. And like, it was like, I'm not going to fight you. Like, what do you want me to do? So the thing is this. It's not actually even the thing. If you take that GFI, you're going to find it's not probably looped. It's probably backstabbed. I'm not even going to talk about the localization of it. I'm just simply going to say, just focus on how it's connected. 99% of homes nowadays, if they're new construction, are all backstabbed. And every electrician in the world is like, backstab's a problem. But we'll never quote for it in the brand new home. And I ask you and say, all right, you just moved into a home. You've got your boxes everywhere. You got one trip GFI. What's easier to fix? I can do a full redevice before you put your furniture? Or let me let you label everything and put it on place and move all that heavy stuff, and then I'm going to have to remove it all and then do the redevice. So the first thing is the timing of it. Why not?
So just to be clear, the stab back receptacle is not a good thing.
That is not a good thing. No. And you know, it's even funnier because that's not an argued point. Like if you went to like 9 out of 10 electricians, almost all of them are going to say, yes, backstab is not good. Legal, but not good. Yes, it will hold for a period of time, but no, it won't hold indefinitely. And when it's daisy chained, all it's going to take is one heater that's running a little too long and suddenly got a little bubbling neutral on the back of it, and the whole circuit goes down until you find that one particular thing. And even then, that electrician doesn't fix it. He just replaces that one device and says, here you go, here's my one service, and then we're done.
Yeah,
that's what blows my mind.
Yeah, just a continual problem. So your argument is that if we let this problem fester, And I mean, even a homeowner could agree. If there was a more permanent solution versus a known, more temporary solution, which would you rather have?
I mean, personally, I'd rather the permanent solution. But that's actually why our process is so effective, because we won't actually make that choice for them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have a complete range. And the bottom is going to be, you know what? I've told you about this. You're aware of what's going on. You know that there's a benefit of doing it before the boxes get unloaded and moved in. But it's not my money. It's not my home. I can do the bare minimum, which is I can change that device, or I can change a GFCI breaker or whatever it is, or I can go through the things that I know are failure points because I've done so many homes through the years. Say, I know what these failure points are going to be. I know you've just moved into it. And I'm going to offer one solution at the top, which is a complete blanket coverage of everything. So, yeah, you're paying up front for it. But if you think the value of saved time, peace of mind, better use of product, better enjoyment of the home, like some people are willing to put the money down, especially when you took out that initial purchase. They want to just put the money down into the home, be done with it, and be like, I'm good for the next several years. So I'll give them the choice from the best. I'll give them the choice from the least, and it's entirely up to them. And that's only with backstabs. Like there's so many other things that we're not doing for them that blow my mind off my skull.
Do you have a particular win in mind from your bank of stories where this has actually really benefited you, where it could have been like most electricians struggle to even come up with anything to offer at all?
There is actually one I remember, and it was actually for a new apartment complex that was built.
Holy
So it
crap.
wasn't even a residential home. It was an apartment for that. For them, they were living in the home. They purchased their own rental or purchased their own apartment. They just moved in. His new family, planning on having a baby in the future, like mid 20s, decent people, right?
Yeah.
And I remember it was something small, like they had a flickering light and it was a switch that was out. Like that was all it was. Just the switch was backstabbed, and just for some reason it wasn't having a good connection to the light. And when the wall did something, it would flicker.
Yeah.
Obviously, average electrician can say, "Oh, just cut it, screw terminal, done, bing bang boom, here's your ticket."
Yep.
But I remember going through with her and saying, like, I understand it's your new home. I understand you said you plan on having a family in this home. Part of what we do is we're just going to do a thorough evaluation, because if I don't want it happening here, the last thing I want you to do is have to keep calling me over and over and over. So let me do a little bit more. And I remember going through it, and I quoted for redevicing certain rooms, and then also changing the lighting for them, and then also I think relabeling the panel. And it came out somewhere like, don't call me on, but I think it was somewhere like 3,000 to like 3,500 at the time. And the reason why it still sticks in my head was I remember going there and thinking, like, myself, like, it's a brand new home. I know they just built this development. Like it's down the street. I know that this is a new place. They're not going to want it. But I had at least got to tell them, because if they need to, if I don't tell them and then something else comes down the line, they're going to be mad at me. So I
Mm,
made that top offer, not even expecting them to take it, but more as like a cover your butt situation.
yeah.
And then when we sold it, I was like, okay, people do appreciate this. Maybe we're onto something here. And then we started just continue going that the thought process. So that one particularly stands out in my mind.
And one thing that stands out for me here in this discussion is you truly believe this is the right thing to do.
I really do. I believe that ethics and honorability are almost like spiritual commands. Like this is something that's inherent to who you are as a human being. We have to operate from an honorable and ethical standpoint. Otherwise, we rot internally, whether we realize it or not. So if you don't believe in what you're doing, or you don't believe in what you're selling, then you shouldn't be the one who's selling it.
Mm,
I want to do good work because I believe good work is in the interest of my customers. That's the end of the line. If I can
yep.
do good quality work, but I can also prevent you from having problems, and I can prevent you from having frustrations, even if they're not dangerous situations. It's just hey, every now and then this light flickers and it bothers me. Well, as an autistic individual, a light flicker is probably going to bother me a hell of a lot more than it's going to bother the average person. And they're not disclosing their neurology to me. So what's stopping me from just considering, if this was my home, I just want to be treated better? If you could stop the flickering light, it's going to be a huge saving in my peace of mind. I'm going to appreciate not have to squint when I turn on the kitchen lights.
Hmm, that's important. Okay, take us beyond the receptacle, Joe.
Okay,
What's
cool.
next?
So then you go further and you're like, let's go just basic safety systems. Now, you know how like the average smoke detector that people are like, oh, I know it's a bad detector when it's like a yellowed old first detector. Well, they had to start somewhere. And usually they're like the cheapest, shittiest brands. Like, and granted, I'm not trying to insult the brand, but I know some of them are the builder's grade ones where you buy them in the box from Home Depot and you don't know how this one's a third of the price, but it
Yep.
meets UL standard. And you're like, all right, I'm going to put those in. That's supposed to save someone's life. And the way I view it is there are so many better systems that are available to someone. Like, I remember there was a situation, even in my own home, like, actually tell you, I did this exact thing in my own home because I had this problem. The new construction builder put in the worst possible smoke detectors. And at 3 in the morning, it started going off. But because they had no identification to them, one would go off and they'd all go off. And I'd have to silence one and hope to turn the others off. So here I am. I've got two young kids sleeping. They're waking up. My wife's now awake. I'm now stressed. And it's a frustrating situation. So, what's stopping us from either putting in smart detectors, which will send you a text, or self identification sensors that will tell you the room that there's a fault in, or
Hmm.
the identification testers that will even sync to your alarm system and then connect? Like, those are actual life safety systems, not just pretend gimmicky life safety systems that pass UL standard.
Speaking of safety systems, I want to tie this directly into the win of the week. Wouldn't it be nice to have a safety system in your business like a sales or service tech, as we'd rather call them, actually being able to make phenomenal sales for you? And that's what happened with our client Eric and his guy Sam. We've worked with Sam directly in class. Sam is absolutely a wonderful electrician, and he set a new personal best record with a job sold at 23.9K. Congrats, Sam. And on the same day, he hit another 3.2K prep package for a generator and made that a personal best day for Sam at $27,100. Sam, cheers to you, brother. Really good. You've got cheerleaders here. Joe, going beyond the safety and the smoke
I'm with it.
detectors, right back into it. Where do you take us next?
Okay, the next thing is then efficiencies. And let me explain what I mean. Once again, assume the builder's doing the cheapest thing he can to meet basic standard so whatever inspector they're buying off can put the sticker on it, right?
Mm.
So I think to myself and say, how many of us love the basic programmable thermostats that we all have in our home that we don't know how to use, right? So you
Yeah.
have all these basic grade programmable thermostats that are not efficient, they're not easy to use. They're not intuitive, and they're still going to break. And the funny thing is that you can have an inefficient system, but if it's controlled by an inefficient control system, even the best system isn't going to work the way it's supposed to. So, what's stopping us from putting in higher quality things? I mean, granted, I'm not sponsored by any particular group, but like if you were going to put in like a Nest sake of argument, that's a great brand to put. I personally have them in my own home again because I hated the programmable thermostats that were put in. I'm able to control it from my phone. I'm able to dial it down to comfort sensings. I can geofence it, so I'm sensing it when I leave the home. It dials things down. Set scenery available. It can tell me the weather and match it based on exterior humidity. It's a climate controlled comfort center. Why wouldn't I want that? It'll actually save me money. If you went to someone in their first home in year one and you change the control system, the ongoing savings just in the operation of a very inefficient AC system like a condenser, you're saving a lot. And even further, like if you want to go even further with that, why aren't we putting in hard starts? It's so simple to do. It's two wires. But when the customer complains when the AC kicks on, the lights flicker, we go, oh, you have to call someone for that. Yeah, they call us. That's what they do. They call us and we'll do it for them.
What I love about where you're going now is right into the customer experience, that
Mm-hmm.
that user experience. And I know I've had the experience of buying a home as well, a fairly new home. I know you have, right? And I think that we overlook this as electricians, that rarely when we buy a home are we getting everything that we like the way that we like it. There's always a trade off. The bathroom wasn't quite as big as we thought. Maybe it didn't have an actual window in it. Maybe the fan squeaked. Whatever this problem is, it's all over the place. Maybe the garage is bigger than you wanted, but the bathroom was smaller. There's all these trade-offs, and they actually connect directly to what you're saying with that experience of how they're going to use their home. And I'm sure there's a lighting tie in here from you as well at some point, Joe. But why don't you keep on going with this? Let's see what else you got in your up your sleeve here.
Awesome. So it really depends on where we want to go from here, because it depends on either generalization or customization. So can I explain like maybe the difference in both and like how
Yeah,
one's user experience and how one's more generalized?
let's do it.
So a user experience upgrade is you think to yourself and say, all right, I recognize I walk to the garage and I see there's two cars in the garage. Phenomenal. Now, when they unload their groceries, do the lights automatically come on, or do they have to hit it with their elbow as they're going up the door of the stairs with groceries in the other arm? Why aren't we putting in motion control or proximity or occupancy sensors in the rooms that we suspect that people will be carrying something in? I see there's a washer dryer. It's on the bottom floor. I see the bedrooms are on the top floor. So you're unloading it. Why are you having to hit anything on your way out? Because if you know me, I'm going to turn off the light. I can't help myself. Like, light's going to go off. But now I've got my basket and I'm like, no. If I can just walk into the room, it comes on, do the laundry, walk out, turn itself off, phenomenal. And even better, you can do that same thing with bathrooms. Like, you know how, oh, go ahead. Yeah.
I was just going to say, we've got a teenager, in fact, two teenagers here that leave the
Bingo.
lights on all the time. I'm constantly going in the hallway to shut their bathroom light off.
Mhm.
Drives me mental. It's a waste of
There's
power.
there's a way around that actually. It's even better. So a lot of times the parents will say, "Oh, the kid forgot," but
Hmm.
they don't. No, it's not a forget. It's a conditioned forgetfulness.
Yep.
So we can actually bypass that completely. What if we were to change the bath fans to whisper quiet fans, so you didn't even know that they were coming on, and then you tie them to the switch that controls the bathroom light that's in the shower? So the moment the bath shower comes on, the fan automatically comes on. So unless they're showering in the dark, they don't forget. Now, if you recognize there's kids moving into the home and you're like, well, one, do you want to sound like you have a lawnmower in your bathroom? No, we're already solving that problem. Two, we're reducing the stains and all the mildew that's going to build from an inefficient, poorly vented system. But then, even further, the fact that it's predicting how their family will grow into it shows that not only understand their family's growth, but it respects the humanity of it. And saying, as a father, I know what this is like, and I want to save you from the frustration that I had to currently deal with.
Yep.
And is it wrong of me to want to serve you at that level?
Not at all. In fact, my curiosity, and not to cut off all the great ideas that could
Sure.
continue to flow here, I'm sure, is how do you position this to a homeowner of a new home who's clearly not interested in spending a bunch on an electrical system when they think, hey, this should be right for me?
That's the fun thing. It depends on obviously the person. You need to have the relationship and tailor the way you're talking to that person. Not everyone's going to have the same vernacular. It's not always going to jive with the same people. It's like, but if I were going to say that they called me for this one thing, but as the professional, I could acknowledge that there are things that are directly connected to it that either affect efficiency, equaling money, quality of life, which is people will pay money to resolve, or it represents something where someone is unhappy or is planning on changing again in the future, we're saving also time delay. So if they don't have to fix it in the future, I'm buying back their time. If I can make it more enjoyable for them, they'll spend more time in the home, meaning they travel out less, saving them money. And if I can make the thing more efficient whenever it is operating, it's saving them money. But it's even one question you can ask that I always find almost makes someone laugh, but then I go, yeah, I get what you're saying. It's when you go into the observation section, you can say, now, I'm sure you know your builder better than anyone else. I mean, I'm sure he gave you nothing but a phenomenal experience. And I bet we can both put our hands down on this table and say there was no corners cut. It was truly, this was the Michelangelo of building construction, correct? And everyone just laughs. They're like, no, that guy was an a-hole. Like, he cut corners. Like, look at the tile work. Look at they start pointing things just in the room alone. And then you can get a little some more somber in your tone, be like, I assumed that was actually the case. Now, if we both understand that, and if I were to go through this and recognize that there are ways I can prevent future frustrations, loss of money, and also loss of enjoyment, but I had an affordable way of preventing that for you, You don't have to move forward with it. Would it be at least wrong of me to tell you about it?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer is always, it's not wrong to tell me.
Yep.
But if I tell you, now you know. And once you know, every time you look at that thing in the future, you'll think of it. And you don't have to buy it now. I just got to get my foot in the door for one sale to demonstrate my level of service, become unforgettable. And then those inception thoughts that you'll keep seeing, yeah, that light is shitty. Yeah, I don't like how it looks. Yeah, the bath fan is loud. Hey, I hate that thermostat. They'll remember you because their sticker is going to be on the panel, but they'll remember the relationship.
It would be nice. Remember that thing Joe said? That would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you need. Thanks, Joe. We're going to run out of time on this one, just passing the 20-minute mark. Guys, what have you offered? If you're following us on YouTube and you have the ability to give a comment there, what have you offered in new homes, or where have you got stumped? And what other options could you get some help with from this podcast? Let us know below. We'll do a podcast just for you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. As we know, 90% of our listeners don't use the subscribe button, but it really helps us and the YouTube channel growth and get past number 11. We're climbing on the feed spot podcast ranks for electricians everywhere. So leave us a rating where you heard us first, guys, and we're going to see you again next week.
Peace be with you, friends. Take care.
Cheers. And that's a wrap for today's episode of the $1 Million Electrician Podcast.
We hope you're buzzing with new ideas that charged up to take your business to the next level.
So don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share the show with fellow electricians. Together, we'll keep the current flowing.